Cassard, it feels like an age since I last saw you. Well, if it isn't the lovely Tesseline. It's been a while, but your timing couldn't be better. The lady was on our way to meet Alisaie. I'm supposed to be taking her to your corner of the desert, but a misplaced order has commandeered my attention. Also, hi Brendan.
I know you're in the middle of your stream,
yes.
But the Demogorgon is $9.99.
Okay.
I thought that might interest you.
I already have him.
Oh. I did not know that. Okay, I'll go back now.
Wait, I know who you are. Alisaie has told me so much about you. You remember, right? I knew it. How wonderful to meet you in the flesh after hearing all those stories. I'm Tesseline. I work as a carer in the inn. I've gotten to know Alisaie quite well since she took up guard duties here. Do you want me to take over as Amber's guide, Cassard? My shopping's all done and packed for the road, so it would be no trouble. That would be a great help, thank you. Well, it looks like you'll be able to head straight out after all. My caravan and I will be in the area for a while yet. Seek me out when you've had your fill of Araeng, and I'll send you back to the Crystarium. Something tells me I won't be using his services anymore because I can just teleport back and forth, but nice that there's dialogue for that. Alisaie has been desperate to see you, Amber, so let's get you to her sooner rather than later. It isn't too hard to find, really. You can actually see the top of the rock he spies from here. We just need to swing around the ridge, then head south. Come on, I'll get my supplies together and meet you outside. All set. I should probably mention the wildlife. Well, most of them will leave you be if you keep your distance. The local coyotes have learned to prey on folk heading home from the markets. I can usually swing a sword well enough to fend them off, but I may have loaded myself with too many bargains today. Do you think you can handle any beasts that try to make a meal of us? Please don't be an escort mission. Please don't be an escort mission. I despise those in leather nets. Leather quests. Oh, I thought you might. Alisaie was always saying how much you, I mean, let's get going, shall we? Oh, I was in the... Right. Reply waiting ages, just in case something actually does attack me. Sorry, there wasn't much time to shout a warning. Where you been? Those things could be nasty. And yet hardly a match for you, it seems. I'd always thought Alisaie was strong, but in her mind, she was never. Now it makes sense. Well, we should push on. It might be best if you go ahead and clear out any coyotes that I've sent. I'll wait here so you can fight without any distractions. Twitch. That's you, chat. It feels... No. I feel like I'm being called out. I don't need a mole coming after me now. Well then. There we go. Come on, Bahamut. Utterly destroy them. Oh, thank goodness you're back. I could hear the howling and snarling from here. Frightful creatures. Let's hope the rest have seen your handiwork and know to avoid us now. I need to get those supplies back to the inn. This is it. Thanks to you, I didn't have to drop my shopping even once. Come to think of it, I'm glad I didn't make the trip alone. It seems you ended up escorting me. I'll have to repay the favor somehow. But first, let's head inside, shall we? Yep, just like New Alamigo. Welcome to the inn at Jenny's Head. You might be our first visitor from the Crustarium since Alizé arrived. It's not much, but it's home for the afflicted and a handful of carers. The afflicted? You don't know? I don't think I've met anyone besides Alizé who was so unfamiliar with our situation here. Most folk have grown up knowing someone who knew someone. I might leave out something obvious. So it may be best to have Alizé give you the full explanation. I think she might be on patrol. You could wait, I suppose, but why not go and surprise her? She usually takes a look at things. I was reading that in the misclick. It's not far. Head out the south side, and you'll soon see it. I'll stay behind in case she comes back while you're gone. Her footwork's off. It was in a mess. That still looks amazing.
Get back here! Is that... It can't be.
You almost lost that one.
I had it under control, right up until the moment I didn't. I'll do better next time. I knew you'd turn up sooner or later, but I had been hoping for sooner.
It's been a year. It's fine. It's not like Frankfurt who had 5 years.
How are you? We've fought them to a standstill, then. The Exarch did say that the Empire seemed to have drawn back when he last looked in on the source. But without knowing for sure how fast time was passing there, I couldn't help worrying that a lot might have happened since then. I'm heartily relieved to hear that it hasn't, just as Alphino must have been. As you can imagine, both he and Araeng were desperate to hear the news from home when I arrived. I haven't actually seen Thancred and Y'shtola yet, but they will have heard all the latest developments from the Exarch by now, or should have at least. When I think of how frantic Tataru and the others must be, I want nothing more than to rush back and reassure them. But we still haven't found a way to reverse the summoning. And even if we had, we couldn't just ignore Uriel's vision. He may use 10 words where one would suffice, and they may often obscure as much as they reveal. But on this matter, he was as clear as day. I do not doubt for one moment that he saw what he claims. Nor how difficult it must have been to speak about them. The 8th Umbral Calamity and your death aren't exactly topics for idle conversation. As much as I might want to go home, I don't want to go home to that. We can't allow the rejoining to happen, which means we have to save the first from the Sin Eaters. That great wall of white is a remnant of the Flood. 100 years ago, the balance in the First tipped decisively in favor of light. From that moment, it rose and swelled with each passing day, and then, without warning, it burst forth like water from a broken dam. A colossal wave of pure light, drowning everything in its wake. Only Norvrant was spared. For the most part, living things are composed of ether of various different aspects. But when exposed to such a flood, their etheric harmony is shattered, and their natural form breaks down. Then they either perish, or are warped into mindless abominations. Yes, that's how the Sin Eaters came to be. They were once living creatures, or people, that were caught in the path of the Flood. Once the change is wrought, there is no going back. In that instant, they are gripped by an insatiable appetite for ether, and will happily gorge themselves on any living thing within reach. But even that is not the worst of it. The stronger Sin Eaters can plant light in us, like seeds in soil, corrupting our ether and triggering the birth of new monstrosities. They are creatures of base instinct that exist only to feed and to multiply. They feel no pity, know no remorse, and are utterly deaf to reason, which is why they must be destroyed. Every last one of them. The infirmary is full of the Sin Eaters' victims, left here to spend their final hours waiting for the change to overtake them.
Then. That is depressing. It's just a matter of time, more for some, less for others. Those patients will all become monsters in the end. And to add insult to injury, the afflicted of fear, shunned, cast out of society and exiled here to the edge of the world. The only good thing I have to say about this hellish place is that it has served me well as a training ground. Tesleen and the others have also been kind enough to share their knowledge of Sin Eaters, which is knowledge I can now share with you, while you help me finish my patrol course. I swear there was something. Okay, I'm gonna move away from that one. Here's what we'll do. I'll take the east side of the inn, and you clear the west. That way you can have an undiluted experience with the resident terrors. These marks on your map are where the usual trouble spots are. You can assume that any beast with a white hide or carapace is a sin eater. But you'll know for sure soon enough when they come slavering after your either. Remember, it's kill or be killed with these monsters. Once you've slain whatever's prowling around out here, we can rendezvous back at the north entrance. Happy hunting. How did you fare? I thought there might be one or two lurking in the fringes. Nothing out of the ordinary for this area. Expect you noticed it yourself, but individually these lesser sinears are no more deadly than any natural predator you might encounter in the desert. It's when they appear in numbers that they pose a threat, much like the void scent, they have an unfortunate tendency to flock it to the strongest of their kind. Thus, when a powerful sin eater goes on a hunt, it might be attended by a veritable swarm of weaker kin. Imagine an army of such creatures descending on a village or hamlet. That's the basic idea behind my patrols, to call their ranks often enough that their numbers won't be overwhelming when the big ones come out to play. And you've certainly helped on that front. Let's report our victories to Tesleen, shall we? Alice tells me you've helped her out on a patrol. You have our thanks, and my apologies for leading you from one battle to another, ever since the moment we met. In any case, I'm glad to see the two of you found each other. You have no idea how badly Alice has missed your company. Everything is always, if Amber were here, she would. That's an exaggeration, and I don't sound like that either. I was simply trying to view matters from another perspective, and I respect Amber's methods. Honestly, after seeing her in action, I can understand why. The way she leaps into the fray without hesitation, it really is something to behold. I might be a little smitten myself. I'm only teasing, though I've no doubt she deserves all the admiration she gets, just as you do. I'd love to lay out a welcome meal, but the duties I put off when I went to the market are still waiting for me. Alright, there are 101 things that need doing. I'm sorry, but would you mind waiting here with Elsie? What, and twiddle our thumbs while you work yourself to death? Surely there's something we can help you with. I could do with a hand, it's true. Thank you. You can start by helping me sort out the larder. While we do that, could you tend to a few patients, perhaps? There are 3 in particular I meant to visit. It's just a matter of saying a few words to them and seeing that their skin isn't caked in sand. Their names are Pornil, Torden, and Halric. They may not give much in the way of response, but I promise they'll be pleased to meet someone new. Halric remains utterly still as you wipe the sand from his cheeks. The texture of his skin is hardened into something akin to plaster. He is starting to turn then, possibly. You've seen to the patients? How were they? Good, that's good. I'm concerned about Halric though. I'll have to speak with the other carers, but I think his time may be near. We shall leave you to have that discussion then. I was going to take Amber to Mordsoak. If you have any errands there that needs doing. Well, I suppose there is one thing. Would you pick up a nectarine from the markets, please? Cassard's caravan just passed through, so run. Should have some fresh fruit. Come then, Amber. There's something I want you to see. Right after we stop at Ron's stall, of course.
Look, over there, where the wall is broken. Do you see what lies beyond? That's what the land became after the light flooded in. An empty white nothingness. Life cannot exist in such conditions. The primordial light would wreak havoc on the body's etheric balance.
Yeah.
That nectarine you bought,
They somehow
it's
are.
Halrick's favorite fruit. Most of the patients, Halrick included, survived the attacks of powerful eaters. But their fate was sealed all the same. The monster's corruption has entered their bodies, and their very essence is being subsumed by light. The twisted state of the world itself just makes matters worse. Under normal circumstances, a person's ether naturally tends to equilibrium. But for these poor souls, the opposite is true. Sooner or later, every single one of them will turn. Tesleen and the patients, they all know this. They know what has to be done before the change goes too far, before the eater within takes over. The preferred method is mixing poison into their favorite food. In my time here, I've borne witness to a lot of last meals. I feel just as helpless as before. No matter how hard I fight, it's never enough. But it's a war I mean to wage, nonetheless. Speaking of wars, do you remember how I made you promise not to leave me and then promptly collapsed?
That I do.
Well, let's just say I had a few choice words for the Exarch concerning the timing of his summons.
I also heard that.
But even if the fault lay with someone else, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd abandon you on the battlefield. So I swore that I'd make up for my absence there by making a difference here. And that's what keeps me moving forward, even when things seem hopeless.
At least she's trying.
On which note, it's time we headed back. The longer we keep Tesleen waiting, the harder this will be for her.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs.
You needn't have gone to the trouble.
do so rarely have guests. In a place like this, you learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel from arms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrent could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
He does sound more like
Do you
a
think so?
Grim Reaper than
I always
anything.
liked the idea that he treated every soul the same, even the Sin Eaters.
Maybe he could be an axe-wielding warrior. Or a buck-wielding summoner. Maybe a Knight of the Dark.
They're coming.
Desleen! Have you seen Halric? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
I guess this is a sign of turning.
Any sign of him?
See not.
No luck then. But he surely can't have gone far. We should keep looking. The Sin Eaters are out in force, and if we don't find him soon, you can be sure they will. Did you see the size of that thing? It must be one of the nasty ones. Wherever it's going, it can only mean trouble. After it!
I got ready to move then.
There it is!
Oh,
Is
well,
that... Oh no! Halric!
We have to run!
no.
Tesleen! No!
We all deserve happiness, wherever we can find it. The time left to you is precious. No one should die in pain. Mother, I...
Okay. Sadistic fucking child. What the fuck? What? Seen small clips of this, but oh my god, that is so much worse in person.
No, 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 no!
The fact that it has a face too. I'm sorry, Ember. I tried to call the carers, but what happened? But I can't be the shoulder they lean on. Not like this. It's just so unfair. Tesleen was always so cheery with the patients, telling them not to be scared, that there wouldn't be any pain. Of all the people in the world to suffer such a fate. I imagine you're just as shocked as the rest of us, so I appreciate what you're doing. Me? I can barely. I don't have the words. Without a body, we can't even give her a proper burial, and she cared about that sort of thing. About giving the people the chance to say their goodbyes. Halric is unresponsive as ever. He stands motionless, staring up at the sky where the Cineys made their escape. That is not celebration. Alize. I've spoken with the carers. Thank you. What you're doing, it means a lot to them, to me. Sorry to interrupt. We realized we hadn't thanked you for rescuing Halric. We weren't hurt at all. Yeah, you weren't hurt at all, were you? Hurt? There wasn't even a fight. I was too late, too slow, and I thought I could protect you. You can't blame yourself for things beyond your control. You brought Halric back safe and sound. No one could have done any more. I'm sorry, but I've come to a decision. I won't be continuing my role here. I hope you will forgive me for leaving you, and that you will delay Halric's last meal for as long as you possibly can. Not until it's too late, of course. Just give him what time you can. We always do. Of course, she would have done the same. Farewell, Halric. Keep Tesseline's words close to heart. Wait, you're leaving this very moment? I understand how you must feel, but surely this is a bit hasty. Do you even have anywhere to go? I have a destination in mind, yes, and a purpose. This damned light, building without cease, it's the reason we can't save those corrupted by the years. But what if we corrected the balance? Even if it were only little by little, even if it took years, it would surely make things better. Now hold on there. Everyone knows there's too much light, but how could you ever hope to get rid of it? You'd have to change the whole world. That's right. We should return to the Crystarium. I may not be able to repel the years on my own, but I can still use the skills that I have gained here to hurt them. I'm betting by the next time we visit the area, Halric's dead.